Eleanor didn't cry at the funeral, but the first night she reached for her husband's hand and found only cold sheets. She broke. No one warns you that grief waits in the dark, tucked beside the empty pillow. This isn't just about sleep, it's about silence, memory, and reclaiming peace. Through Eleanor's story, we'll reveal 15 brutal truths about sleeping alone after 70, and how women find quiet strength through each one. Let's begin with the first night, the one that changes everything. One says silence isn't just peaceful, it's loud. It's funny how people think silence is peaceful. Eleanor used to believe that too. She pictured calm nights with a warm blanket, a gentle breeze through the curtains, and a soft sigh of rest. But the first night she slept alone, the silence wasn't kind. It was cavernous, unforgiving. Every tick of the clock sounded like a hammer. Every creak in the walls was a question, what now? When you've spent decades sharing a bed, listening to the rustle of covers beside you, the snore you used to nudge lovingly, it's not just the person who's gone, it's the rhythm. The background music of your life vanishes, and what's left feels more like absence than peace. Try introducing soft, familiar sounds back into your space. A favorite radio station on low volume, a ticking analog clock, even a sound machine set to ocean waves or distant thunderstorms, not to drown out the quiet, but to bring life back into the space. Sound reconnects us with life. It reminds us we're still here, still present, still allowed to feel comfort. It doesn't erase the silence, but it reframes it, turning something painful into something warm again. 2. Your body doesn't sleep the same anymore. It hit Eleanor around 3:17 a.m. Her feet were ice cold. Despite the extra blanket, she shuffled to the linen closet, wrapped herself in a second quilt, then spent the rest of the night tossing, flipping, and wondering if her thermostat was lying. Here's the thing, no one prepares you for your body changes the way it sleeps when you're alone. And it's not just emotional, there's science behind it. Without another person beside you, your body doesn't retain the same warmth. Hormonal shifts at this stage in life can also affect how your body regulates temperature at night. Create a comfort-based sleep setup tailored for one. Use a dual-layer comforter with breathable fabric. Keep a hot water bottle or a microwavable foot warmer by your side. Layer socks under pajamas if you're someone who feels colder at night. Also, consider investing in flannel sheets or a memory foam topper for extra insulation without the bulk. Rest isn't just about sleep, it's about safety. When your body feels warm and secure, your heart follows. Creating physical comfort is a small way of telling yourself, you're worth this care. And let's be honest, it's not about indulgence, it's about healing. Fear is real, but you're not helpless. No one wants to admit they feel afraid in their own bed. But when Eleanor heard a soft knock on her window during a windstorm, her heart jumped. She laughed at herself the next morning. I used to sleep through hurricanes when Richard was here, but it didn't feel funny at 2 a.m. Sleeping alone after 70 isn't just about sadness, it's also about safety. Even if nothing is wrong, the what-ifs feel sharper, louder, harder to quiet. And it's not just fear of someone outside, it's the fear of something happening to you. What if you slip on the way to the bathroom? What if you don't wake up? You don't have to live in fear. You just need to feel prepared. Keep a flashlight within arm's reach. Install motion sensor nightlights from your bed to the bathroom. Place your phone or emergency device right on the nightstand. If possible, share a simple morning check-in with a friend or neighbor by text. Even these simple changes shift your subconscious from panic to preparedness. Feeling safe is what allows us to let go. When we feel safe, our body relaxes, our mind stops spinning, and sleep, real, nourishing sleep, becomes possible. There's no shame in needing safeguards. That's not weakness. It's wisdom. It's easy to think these are just small fixes. A sound machine, warmer socks, a brighter hallway. But for Eleanor, each step turned the bed from a battleground into a sanctuary. These first truths are hard, yes, but they're not the whole story. They're just the beginning of something stronger. What was your first night sleeping alone like? If you feel comfortable, share a moment in the comments. Someone else may find strength in your story. 4. Even distractions can set drown the night. Eleanor tried everything. A mystery novel on her nightstand, crossword puzzles. She even left the TV on once, hoping the late-night voices would fool her into feeling less alone. But no matter how many distractions she added, one truth settled in: when the lights go out, the heart still whispers. And those whispers? They don't follow your bedtime routine. You see, we often treat loneliness like something we can outsmart, like it's a riddle to solve with noise or busyness. But emotional silence doesn't budge just because we keep ourselves entertained. Instead of layering distractions, try building a night ritual that acknowledges your heart. Light a candle in memory of your partner, and spend a moment in gratitude. Write a one-line journal entry about something good from the day. End with a calming tea, something warm, grounding, and gentle. Distractions can postpone the ache, but rituals soften it. They tell your spirit, this moment matters. You matter. When you mark your night with intention, not noise, you build a bridge between the pain and your peace. 5. Your bed becomes a battlefield of memories. Have you ever walked into a room and felt it was watching you? That's how Eleanor described her bedroom after the first month. It's like the bed remembers what I'm trying to forget. She'd glance at the dented side of the mattress and be back in 1982, laughing about that winter they couldn't afford heating. The covers would tug a little, and she'd hear his voice, soft and half asleep, saying, "You always steal the blanket." Nostalgia is powerful, but it doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it stings. Rather than erasing those memories, consider reframing the space. Change just one thing about the room: new pillowcases, a different lamp, a new headboard. Move the bed slightly, or reposition your nightstand. Add something fresh, a plant, a photo of you smiling, not just of the past, but the present. Changing the physical space helps your brain create new emotional anchors. You're not disrespecting the past. You're inviting the future to have a say. Eleanor didn't throw away the past. She let the room grow with her. 6. Nightmares are inception just for children. It was 4:12 a.m. when Eleanor sat bolt upright, breath caught in her throat. The dream had been vivid: her late husband, standing by the bedroom door, asking why she moved his reading glasses. Harmless on paper, haunting in the dark. You'd think by 70 our dreams would settle. But in reality, grief wakes up at night, and sometimes it wears a familiar face. Studies show that seniors, especially those sleeping alone after loss, experience vivid dreams or grief-related imagery more frequently. It's the brain's way of processing what the heart can't say aloud during the day. Make space to process dreams without fear. Keep a soft-bound notebook on your nightstand. Label it Night Thoughts. After waking from a vivid dream, jot down a few lines. No judgment, just release. Add a soft touch point. Eleanor used lavender balm on her wrists while writing. It helped ground her. Giving your nighttime thoughts a place to go tells your mind it's safe to rest again. Dreams might visit, but they don't get to stay. And when you give your subconscious a voice, the fear loses its echo. By this point in Eleanor's journey, she wasn't sleeping well yet, but she wasn't dreading the night anymore. There's something powerful in acknowledging the weight of these hidden truths. You begin to find your way, not around the grief, but through it, with gentleness, with grace, with the small courage it takes to make your bed again the next morning. Let's open it up a little. Have you ever changed something in your room that helped shift your mood? A photo, a scent, a new routine? Share your tip below. You never know who it might help tonight. 7. Guilt can linger in the most unexpected ways. Eleanor had finally started sleeping across the bed, stretching out, taking up space. But the first time she accidentally knocked her husband's old pillow onto the floor, she froze. Not from physical pain, but emotional guilt, as if she'd done something wrong. Here's what no one talks about. You can feel guilty for healing. You can feel guilty for sleeping better, for laughing before bed, for choosing new sheets. Guilt isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just a whisper saying, "Shouldn't you be sadder?" This happens because our brain attaches meaning to shared objects and routines. When you disrupt those, even gently, it can feel like betrayal. But that's not what's really happening. What's really happening is growth. Redefine your space without erasing his memory. Instead of throwing out old items, consider moving them to a memory box or another room. Add something of your own to the bed, a small quilt you chose yourself, a calming scent that feels just you. Create one new bedtime habit that belongs only to this chapter of your life. When you give yourself permission to move forward, you're not replacing love, you're continuing it in a new way. The guilt may still show up, but it won't drive the story anymore. Eleanor didn't stop loving her husband when she changed the sheets. She simply started loving herself a little more too. 8. Not everyone understands what you savor feeling. You should be used to it by now. That's what someone said to Eleanor over lunch, about 7 months after her husband passed. She nodded politely, but inside her heart sank, used to it, as if sleeping alone is something you ever really get used to. The truth? Some people won't understand the weight of the empty side of the bed. They may minimize it, skip over it, or offer advice that's, well, unhelpful, and that can make you feel even more alone. This experience is incredibly personal, and while friends and family mean well, not everyone knows what it's like to face the darkness without the breathing rhythm of someone beside you. Find your real circle. Consider joining a local widow support group or online community. Start a bedtime message thread with a friend. Just a good night, or how was your evening? Even reading others' stories online can remind you you're not weird, broken, or weak. Being heard is healing. Being seen in your experience, even by strangers, can lift a weight you didn't know you were carrying. Eleanor found a small Facebook group where other women shared their nighttime struggles. She never posted, but reading their words helped her breathe a little easier, because shared pain becomes lighter pain. Your body misses touch, but that doesn't mean you stir lonely. This one took Eleanor a while to name. She wasn't looking for romance or even companionship, but still, there were nights she missed the weight of an arm over her shoulder, the warmth of another body near hers, the gentle rhythm of shared breath, and it made her wonder, am I lonely, or just missing touch? Turns out the two are not the same. Science backs this up. After 70, our skin becomes more sensitive to the absence of physical contact. Oxytocin levels, the feel-good hormone tied to touch, drop. That can affect everything from mood to sleep, to even immune function. Reintroduce healthy, comforting touch into your routine. A weighted blanket can simulate the sensation of being held. Wrap yourself in a soft robe before bed or press a warm heat pack to your back. Gentle self-massage with lotion or even a warm bath before bedtime helps reset the body's sense of calm. Your need for comfort didn't leave with your partner. You are still a body, still a spirit, still worthy of warmth. Touch is not a sign of weakness, it's a vital part of our well-being. Eleanor's turning point, the first night she didn't reach for a phantom hand, but pulled the blanket over her shoulder and whispered, "I've got me now." At this point, Eleanor's journey is no longer about just coping. She's learning to live in this new chapter with grace, humor, and a growing sense of wholeness. Healing doesn't erase the love, it just gives it more room to breathe. Has someone ever said something that made you feel unseen in your grief? Or have you found a way to comfort yourself at night that surprised you? Let's share in the comments. It's the quiet stories that often help the most. 10. Childhood fears return in grown-up disguises. One night, Eleanor jolted awake, not from a noise, but from a feeling, that familiar prickle of unease. The shadows on her dresser had shifted, or maybe they hadn't. Still, her heart raced like she was 7 years old again, convinced something lived under the bed. It sounds silly, doesn't it? But it's not. When we sleep alone, especially after decades of shared nights, the mind can drift back to old corners we thought we outgrew. This isn't regression, it's memory. Our brain catalogs safety as people, patterns, presence. Remove those things, And even confident women can startle at creaks in the night. Create comfort cues with visual and sensory grounding. A soft lamp left on dim overnight. Ambient glow makes shadows less powerful. Familiar textures within arm's reach. Your favorite blanket or shawl. Soothing smells like chamomile or sandalwood. A dab of essential oil on the pillow can work wonders. It's not just about fear, it's about reclaiming trust in your space. When you feel grounded, those childhood echoes fade. Eleanor found peace in leaving her closet door cracked open. It made me feel like I wasn't hiding from anything, she said. That little light? It's not childish, it's courageous. 11. Nighttime is when unspoken feelings rise to the surface. There's a strange honesty that comes at night. Eleanor noticed it after a month or two. Right as her head hit the pillow, a thought would pop up. Something she hadn't said. A regret. A moment she wished had gone differently. And once it arrived, it settled in like a guest overstaying their welcome. That's the truth about sleeping alone. There's no distraction to drown your thoughts. No small talk. No soft snoring. Just you. And whatever you haven't faced yet. But here's the reframe. This quiet isn't your enemy. It's an invitation. Create a safe release valve before bed. Keep a 5-minute feelings notebook. Not a diary. Just a place to jot whatever's pressing. Light a small candle or incense stick. Then blow it out when you close the book. A signal that those thoughts can rest too. Eleanor called this her emotional porch. A place to leave things overnight. Emotions don't need to be solved at midnight. They just need to be heard. By giving yourself a practice of pause, you don't suppress what rises, you gently make room for it. The result? Your heart learns it's safe to sleep again. 12. You start to crave connection, but on your own terms. At first, Eleanor avoided phone calls at night. She didn't want to seem needy. But as the months went by, she realized something. She wasn't avoiding people. She was avoiding vulnerability. Big difference. There's a myth that being strong means being solitary. But even the strongest of women need a voice, a laugh, a check-in. What changes after 70 is how we crave connection. Not constant, not loud, but meaningful, and on our terms. Eleanor found joy in one small change. She called her grandson every Sunday evening, not for long, not to pour out her soul, just to say, "How was your week?" Start a low-effort connection ritual. A sleep well text to a friend each night, voice notes exchanged with a loved one, shared memories or silly stories. Even setting a short audiobook to play for 10 minutes at bedtime can create a sense of togetherness. You're not filling silence, you're nurturing connection, and that connection doesn't drain you, it nourishes you. In Eleanor's words, sometimes hearing a voice reminds you you still have one. By now, Eleanor's room wasn't just a bedroom. It was a retreat, a rhythm, a reminder that healing happens in layers. She wasn't fixed, but she was no longer frozen. Each night held less fear, and more softness. And now I'd love to hear from you. Do you have any small nighttime rituals that help you feel more grounded? A scent, a song, a phrase you whisper to yourself. Share it in the comments. You might inspire someone who needs it tonight. 13. The bed may always feel too big. But so does growth. Eleanor never downsized her bed. People told her she should. It'll feel cozier, they said. Less empty. But she couldn't do it. That queen-size mattress held a lifetime of morning chats, late-night laughter, and the soft hush of shared silence. Shrinking it felt like shrinking her history. So instead she chose something else to grow into it. Some nights she'd sleep right in the middle. Others, she'd spread out sideways with a novel by her side. There were still nights she curled up small, but they became fewer with time. The bed didn't get smaller. Eleanor expanded. Stop trying to fix the empty space. Instead, claim it. Rearrange your pillows in a way that comforts you. Add a long body pillow, if you'd like support without it feeling too replacement. Make the bed yours again, not ours, not his, yours. The size of the bed reflects the size of your story, and your story isn't over. It's changing shape, sure, but shrinking yourself to avoid pain only leaves less room for joy. Eleanor's choice to stay with her bed was quiet, but it was bold. She didn't make her world smaller. She grew to fit the new space. 14. You can miss someone deeply and still love the quiet. Eleanor never thought she'd say it, but after a year, she started to like the stillness. Not because she forgot him, never that, but because silence slowly became a place she met herself again. No whispers, no snoring, no checking in before turning out the light. Just breath, her own, rhythmic, alive. It was a revelation. Missing someone and enjoying your solitude are not contradictions. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow bloom, one that starts when you stop waiting for noise to come back and begin listening inward. Practice listening stillness. 5 minutes before bed, lie down without distractions and focus only on your breath. Light a single candle or sit near a window and just observe. Night doesn't ask anything of you. Speak aloud something kind to yourself. Eleanor's line was, "You made it through another day." When silence becomes a space of self rather than loss, you begin to rediscover parts of you that were always there. Quiet, but waiting. Loving the quiet doesn't mean you've moved on. It means you've moved inward, and that's a powerful kind of peace. Sleeping alone doesn't mean you, sir, alone. There was a moment not long ago when Eleanor woke up in the middle of the night and realized something beautiful. She wasn't afraid anymore. The room was still dark, still quiet, still hers. But instead of feeling alone, she felt held, not by someone, but by the life she had built, by the memories that didn't haunt her now, but kept her warm, by the rituals, the resilience, the small habits she had chosen to soften the edges. You see, there's a difference between sleeping alone and being lonely. One is a circumstance. The other is a story we tell ourselves. Build reminders of connection into your mornings, so your nights don't feel like the end, just the pause. A journal, a song, a walk around the block the next day. Leave something visible on your nightstand that brings you joy. A photo, a trinket from travel, a quote in your own handwriting. Eleanor's nightstand held a tiny clay bird her grandson made. "It reminds me I'm loved, even in silence," she said. Being physically alone doesn't define your value, your beauty, or your belonging. You carry connection within you, through memory, meaning, and choice. When that becomes clear, the night no longer feels like a void. It feels like a part of your rhythm, whole, valid, enough. Eleanor's journey didn't end with better sleep. It evolved into something richer. Rest, not just for her body, but for her soul. These truths are hard-earned and still unfolding, but they remind us that even in the stillness, we're never truly alone. Now I'd love to hear from you. Has your relationship with nighttime changed in recent years? Whether it's something small or something deep, your story matters. Share it in the comments, and let's continue building comfort together. Who knew one bed, 2 pillows, and 0 snoring could teach us so much about healing? Hey, if Eleanor can turn a lonely night into a soft power move, so can you. Drop your thoughts below, share your bedtime wins, and remember, quiet doesn't mean you're done. It means you're growing.